Reshif, and this is going to be live and unedited. So I'm going to, after the fact, I'm going to be putting timestamps in the description. So if you're watching this on YouTube days later or even fucking years later, use those timestamps because there's going to be a lot of downtime as I'm interacting with people who are in the stream or whatever. And right now I'm going to even take some time to mess with my stream settings. So you might want to skip that. All right. Let's refresh. Let's listen to myself talk and see how the volume is. Listen to myself talk and see how the volume is. It's not very loud. Alright, I can't turn my mic up any. Actually, I can turn it up a little bit more. Let's turn it up to +6. Should be enough. Yeah. There. Alright, now I'm going to shamelessly advertise my stream. Okay. I'm gonna wait until some more people get in here. Can barely hear me? Oh no. Can I turn my mic up any more than already is? Audio. No, I can't. Just turn the volume up to max. Let me see if is my gain knob down? No, it's, Try getting a little bit closer. That'll help, I guess. Let's turn this up a little bit more. My volume settings. 7 decibels of preamp, and it's still pretty quiet, I guess. It's unfortunate. Huh. Actually, does OBS even go through this? I have to assume. How do I give people mod? Add moderator. Yeah, there we go. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in this channel. Where else do I want to advertise my stream? Let's do it in Stratus. Oh yeah, there's a PGM mapmaking channel. Oh, what the? Why would you do that? Wait, my chat's getting cut off. There we go. Perfect. Supposed to be a swastika. Yeah, well, not on the stream because my my chat window is way cut down. Actually, it's not even a swastika on my main browser. Okay. It's 10:31. I think we can get started. So the first thing you want to do when you're making a map is you want to think about what you're even trying to do. So what I'm trying to do here, my goal is I want to make a CTF map, specifically a 5v5 CTF map meant for competitive play. And rather than trying to build a universe before the sandwich, which I think is a saying, I'm going to go ahead and look at some examples of what I should be basing things off of. And this might not be what everyone does, just rip off other ideas, but it's what I do. Even Golden Drought 1 was just me taking Race of Victory 2 and saying, I want to change a few things, like making the choke points different, for defense, rather than having a big wall of bedrock that's just really hard to get past. Make it a choke point, such that's only as powerful as the defender defending it. I made dynamic front lines with the islands, which is a term I made up. I made it sandstone instead of regular stone because sandstone mines faster. Making pits on Race Victory 2 was super slow. Did it gold instead of iron because I thought the differential between iron and naked was too much. And then Skyridge was because I made the height limit 10 higher than I meant to. So sometimes the most popular decisions are mistakes. That's a lesson. Lesson number 1. Golden Drought 1 was a fluke. Anyways, the point I was trying to make is look to examples. And we're going to look at one example of a map that almost was good. Assembly. Now, I don't know if anyone who's watching the stream remembers this. Some of you probably do. Assembly was a little bit weird. And if I wanted to make another map that incorporated elements of assembly, I want to first identify what those elements are that I do want to copy and which ones I don't. So, oh yeah, Strange helped with this, didn't he? Here's the thing about Strange having author in some of my maps. Some of my maps I just made, like Verdant Corridors. This is a secret. I'm not supposed to tell anyone, but I made Verdant Corridors out of wood entirely. It was just done. And I was like, Strange, if you make this look nice, if you rebuild it with a different block palette, I'll give you author. And that's exactly what happened. So now he's author in Verdant Corridors. Anyways, that's what happened with assembly here. So what we want to do is we want to break down assembly into itty-bitty pieces and then keep some of those pieces and remove others. The best way to do that isn't actually by flying around and looking at assembly. It's by taking out a piece of paper and writing on it. So we're going to do that real quick. Let's turn on my webcam. Got some stuff here. All right. My webcam is not pointed at my desk. There we go. So what, I guess I should actually point out what I'm thinking about here in the game first. What's interesting about assembly to me is the design of the main choke point in the map. Well, there's 2 of them. There's one on each side, but since it's mirrored, I consider it the main choke point. And there's 3 avenues to go across it. And the line, if you were to draw a line, it would be like right here, pretty much. So there's 3 ways to get through this horizontal line. One is on the ground here. It's hard to rotate from ground to anywhere else. There's some cover here to duck behind, but you're pretty much in the open. You can't interact with people who are up on high ground. They can just shoot you until you die, and you can't go and melee them. And they can jump down on you anytime they want. The other option of the 3 is to go up on high ground on these rafters and push up here. It's fairly narrow, and you're going around a corner, but it's not too bad. It's just hard to get people up here is the problem. And if you have all 5 people here, it doesn't work out very well. And then the third option is this flanking route underneath, which is the most dangerous of all of them. But because it's the most dangerous, it's also the least expected. And the way that those 3 options interact and the fact that they're all close to each other and yet separate, distinct options that a defender would have to, or not necessarily a defender, but someone playing defensively around a choke point have to respond to differently, is what we want to keep when making a new map that looks like assembly. Pretty much everything else about assembly kind of sucks. The mid area, which is just 2 parallel rafters, which actually were connected at the middle. I don't know why I got rid of the bridge here. It was super dumb. Nobody actually went down on mid here. Everyone was just like up rafters. They shot each other and then jumped across. And having team fights break out across a 1 wide bridge across mid is kind of not very fun. Because these flanking routes lined up across mid, you could actually access them not by going through mid, but by jumping down into your own and coming out the other side. Nobody actually traveled from one side of mid to the other. They kind of just went up to the rafters or used the flanking route. And so the ground route was severely misused or severely underused. So that's what we want to change. So we're gonna again pull out the pencil and paper. And we're gonna draw what we're looking at here, which is these 3 choke points connected to a middle area and then to a raised flag area above the spawn. Why did I not turn my webcam on? Now I've moved my mouse pad and it's hard to click the thing. Someone in chat is speaking Spanish and I do not, unfortunately, do not speak Spanish. So I do not know what you're saying. So this is going to be a very rough sketch, but essentially we've got a middle area. This is mid, so we're just going to name it mid. And we've got the ground route, the rafters, which are above it, and then a tunnel around here. And we're going to go ahead and say we're going to keep it rotationally symmetrical. You guys can't see this very well, can you? Let me see if I can get another light on this. Not that that would help. No, that is not helping. All right, well, we'll just draw bigger, I think. How many pages do I have in this? That's enough. So, okay, let's say this is... Maybe if I got a pen, this would be better. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go grab a pen. I'll be right back. And we're back. All right, so we have 3 pens here. We've got a really useless yellow pen. Okay, that's garbage. We have basically a tiny marker. And no, paint's dumb. I don't want to draw with my mouse. And a blue pen, that's actually not so bad. Looking at the stream, the marker's the best. All right, so we've got our mid area. We don't know what our mid area looks like yet in our new map. We've got the ground route that is pretty wide, so wider than this, I guess. We've got one on the other side. We've got the upper area that kind of comes around the corner and then looks at mid. We're saying that's it. And we've got somewhere, we've got a tunnel going through that comes out on rafters. Right, and that's what we want to keep so far. You can't see that dotted line, can you? So we're looking at this and we're thinking of ideas to do with this middle area. I kind of want there to be a way to get out of mid up to the top rafter part to some degree. But I also don't want it to be such that if you're sitting in the middle of the map, you can get anywhere very easily. I want these to be separate and distinct lanes. And if they come together at one point, then the team's just going to hold it at one point. The main choke point should be where these 3 are closest, which would mean that mid has to be even wider and harder to rotate across. Now I can think of one very easy way to do this, and that's to take rafters and to split it into 2 lanes around the top. So like, this is hard to draw, but when it comes around the corner, there's just a loop of rafters around. and then it comes back around to here. So if we were to take out another page, and we just draw as lines, not as walls, rafters would come out to mid, and on both sides, and they come around like this. So that, since this is the middle of the map, you'd meet here as the teams, but you wouldn't actually want to hold both sides as choke points. What you'd want to do is want to push up to here and hold them here, or you'd want to fall back and hold them here. There's actually a few examples of this I could think of. Pretty much most of the Overwatch King of the Hill maps do this, something like this to some degree. Pretty much everything on Oasis, all three of the Oasis King of the Hill maps do it with a something in the center of the hill to turn it into like a circle. Ilios Well is a really good example of this. You don't hold well by going to each side of the hole and stopping them there. No, you push past the hole and hold them on the other side where the two ends come together, or the two sides of the hole come together. Because we want the choke point to be here, not across mid. So that's what we're going to do the rafters at mid, I think. So let's actually just visualize that really hastily in assembly here. So what would that even look like? Let's already have this as a far one. Oh. What is a stone brick ID again? It's been so long I forgot. It's 98. This isn't to scale at all, but it would look something like this, I guess. This is the idea we're going with at the moment. Alright, so that looks interesting. It's a lot better. Of course, we get rid of this thing right here. Now, what do we want to do the rest of mid? The ground part of mid. I said we shouldn't have these coming out facing each other. I think we should move each of them to around here, to underneath. So if we go back to the paper, because go to our new page, because we're making changes and I'm doing it with a marker so I can't erase things. We've got this loop of rafters around the top. You come in at the top from there and from there. And I don't know where that goes yet. I don't know what the flag and spawn area looks like yet. I'm thinking the entry to the underground area should be right under here. It should go through there and out somewhere around here. Flip the mouse pad, yeah. And we probably end up keeping the same ground lane coming out on the far side. So you come out in the corner of mid, kind of fight your way over. We'd probably make it a little bit wider than it is on the current assembly, because on the current, I say current, but old assembly, really, because we're making a new map. On the old assembly, it's like 7 blocks wide. It's not really enough to have a fight in, which is another reason people don't fight down there, because there's no room for a team fight. Let's think about what happens when you come out into the flag area. I'm thinking the rafters would end up going horizontal again around this sort of wall, which is sort of another signature thing about assembly. It's got this S shape going on with this wall here. There's a few problems with that. A few things, actually. There's another thing I intended to be done with assembly that didn't actually happen. If you see this window here, this window's looking at the one team's staircase up into the rafters. and the other team's way to get up to the enemy rafters without crossing the middle. And what I was thinking at the time was people are going to use this window to keep people off of rafters. But nobody would ever do that, because the problem with this window here, the problem with putting a person here, is it's super counterintuitive, because look how far you are away from the part of the map that matters, which is this choke point here. And no one was ever even in this area. Nobody even discovered what this was meant to be used for, much less use it for its intended purpose. So we have to think about, I still want keeping people off of rafters to be a little bit easier, so that if you're trying to get through this choke point, you don't have to deal with constantly respawning players. So what I'm thinking is the way up to these rafters is going to be over here, because this staircase here only exists really for the sake of offense. So that if people are ground pushing here, they can go up this staircase and get to the flag like that. And that gives, I mean, if this staircase wasn't here, then if you were ground pushing, you would actually have to go past the enemy spawn. But we can double duty with the staircases and make a staircase around here that's close enough to the defending spawn, such that they use it to get up to above the main choke point, and such that a team pushing in on the ground would use that staircase to get up to the high ground. So let's go back to the paper, because what we're going to do with the paper, the reason we're drawing this all on paper, is we're going to go somewhere else and remake it from scratch. We're not just going to make an edit of an assembly. We're making a whole new map, and we're taking it apart and putting it back together. Because that's really what I do with more competitive maps. I look at what works and what doesn't with existing maps, and I stitch stuff together. Sometimes it looks like one map, sometimes it looks like an abomination of like 3 different maps with some original ideas thrown in. But this is what we're working with right now. Recovery asks, how many maps would be included in the map pool of the CTF tournament? I assume 5, like last time. I think that's what we're planning on. But I haven't heard anything. Like, it could be a different number, and I just haven't heard, or you haven't been told. So as you come around here, and you get back up to rafters, which is around here, there would be a staircase. Let's say the staircase, is here. And then the actual rafter area kind of bends to make that more possible. Having a staircase in this corner. Actually, no, the staircase should be facing the other way. Well, now I can't draw that. Let's just zoom in on this choke point here. So this is the flag area here in the spawn, the ground area. Well, now I already drew it incorrectly, but whatever. The staircase will be facing like this, so that if you're having a fight here around this corner, around this choke point up on high ground, your bow spam can actually get people on this staircase who are trying to come up and reinforce. So if you get a few kills and there's a slow fight happening here, actually I should make this more accurate. I should have it go like that, because that's what rafters are going to look like. If you're having a drawn-out fight, you can stop people from coming back from spawn from a distance, which was the intent of the window that was kind of like over in this area, but never actually panned out. So now that this is here, we don't actually need a staircase up here. I think we should have... We want the flag to be accessible from 2 different angles, at the very least. If we look at an assembly, this was kind of done. Let me pull this webcam off again, and turn off the rain. So one of the problems with the assembly is that the flag was on this thing where there's a bunch of ways to get up to here, but then the flag is actually across this little bridge. Even though this is really short, technically as a defender, defending player, you could be up here and bow spam them. Because any route, any option could just come down to here. That was easily solved by just moving the flag to here, which I don't remember if we actually made a version that did that. But we're going to keep that idea that may or may not have even occurred of having the flag at the end of this loop. So back to the... God, the stream... OBS lags really hard whenever I turn on my webcam. So we're going to keep this as a loop. And we want the flag to be like on the opposite end of the loop, so it's a reasonable distance away. So like there isn't one route around the loop or one direction, clockwise or counterclockwise, that's faster. Ignore that. And the flag would be like right here in the corner now, which doesn't really matter. Though I guess we could do is we could, well, so now I'm thinking I've made this design, and it works really well for the high ground and for the low ground working together. I might have to consider adding an extra way up out of spawn, though I think I might not. I think I might just have this be it. And if the other team pushes up and bow spams the staircase, then you're just in a bad spot. Well, I don't know yet. What I have to think about now is that I've forgotten the tunnel flanking route, the one with the lava in the other version, or the current version of Ascendance, the one we're looking at in Minecraft. Now, or not Ascendance, Assembly. I get them mixed up sometimes. It happens. So where do we want this to come out? I mean, how do we make it such that it stays a part of the same choke point? Because if we make it from here to here, it's no longer a part of this choke point. It's something entirely different. You can't possibly expect to have influence over both at the same time. Because what's important with... it's important where it comes out on assembly here, which is around this choke point. We want to have it such that a player in this area can still exert influence over this route, over this option. So I'm trying to think of how to do that. But also, we don't want it necessarily to come up just on the staircase right here in this area here. Actually, no, what am I saying? Why not just have the staircase come up along here and go underneath the rafters there? Because that would be the way out of mid. No, you know what? I'm overthinking things. I think that works. So let's, one more time, just kind of draw our ideas and the big picture. So we've got mid. This is like the middle area, and there's the rafters going over the top. We've got the ground, and then here is the staircase coming up. I drew this too far back. Let's try this again. Mid is here. I don't know if I even have enough space. Whatever. Here we go. That's the rafters going around the top of mid. Here's one side of the ground. Here's the other side of the ground. And then here is the staircase coming up from mid. Then here is staircase coming up from spawn. I didn't make this big enough. This doesn't even... You know what? I've got enough sketches, I don't need to make a full sketch. I'm just going to start building, because I know how to do that better than drawing, if you guys haven't noticed. So we're going to... Actually, you know what? We're going to shrink this webcam to a reasonable size. and just go ahead and have a webcam on the stream. Well, now it's like, now the cord is in front of the, is that good? There we go, that's good. I'm just gonna have this going, because why not? We might as well. We're gonna head on Badline build server, because that's where we're making this. So, I guess this is the part where I should talk about what I'm doing as I build something very, very fast. So we're gonna start out by using Fire Wand, which is objectively better than a regular wand, because you can set positions from a very far distance, rather than having to go up and hit them yourself, which is really nice. So we're gonna start by just selecting a big area. So we're gonna expand 20 in each direction. And then we're just going to set this to quartz, because I like to build everything out of quartz and nether brick to highlight edges and corners, just because I think that they're readable blocks in terms of figuring out dimensions, not because I think they look all that great necessarily. It's just, it's easy to build with, and usually I end up replacing the block palette later. Now, we're going to start by making the mid area. We're just going to pick a size. I'm thinking on the ground, instead of the 7 blocks wide it is on assembly, it's going to be 11. We're going to do 11. So let's take 11 blocks and see how big that is. That's reasonable. Go ahead and open this up all the way. So this is 41 blocks wide for the map. Well, actually it's not. Well, actually it is, because I remember expanding this region out. Let's do just 39. So mid area is going to be 39 by 11. Not that those numbers mean anything yet. Let's go ahead and build up the walls. We're going to make the rafters. So the question is, do we want the rafters to be overhanging mid, or do we want them to be indented into the wall? I'm thinking we should have them into the wall like they were originally. So we're going to do that. We can do 4 blocks wide and see how we feel about that. So this would just go all the way across mid. This would be 4 blocks back. Oh, wrong tool. You can see that Fire Wand is really nice for stuff like this. And this would go all the way around. I'm thinking 4 blocks does feel like a pretty good amount. So we're going to stick with that until we decide to possibly change it later. Go ahead and continue making this rafter area above the mid portion. Now we should probably actually have this 5 blocks above the ground, because we want things to go underneath it, and we don't necessarily want 3 block You don't necessarily want 3 block hallways if we can avoid it. Not because there's anything technically wrong with them, it's just they feel cramped that you hit your head on the ceiling a little bit every time. I'm gonna finish this up real quick, and then we'll get into more interesting parts of the map. A lot of map making is placing blocks. Much of the interesting thinking happens along the way. The sketches I did and the ideas I threw out, probably not going to be what it ends up looking like in the final result. Some music. I probably should turn on some music. How about... Oh, that's my own stream. I don't even know why I have that open. How about the mottos? Here's a good one. Let me know if this is too loud. So we're gonna have the ground area for mid coming around here. I think we should. So how wide do we want this? This is supposed to be supposedly a choke point. I think 8 is a good number for having ground fights in an area such that if someone's running down, you can hit them, but you can't necessarily bow spam it. Alright, so that's coming out of mid. Often I like to, if I'm just trying to carve something out, instead of expanding my region and setting the whole thing to air, I'll set part of it to air and then stack it, just because I find typing stack easier than expand. It's not actually important. So rafters are going to come around here. This area is going to be open, actually. Totally open. Is this music a decent volume for the sound of my voice? Because I know my voice is pretty quiet. My mic is just not very loud. Continue opening this up. I think at this point we can get away with just making one half of the map and flipping it once we're done. Oh. Oh, before we do that. So how far do we want this to go before we get to the turning point around the other side of the wall? That's the question here. How far do we want to go before the staircase comes up? Because once the staircase comes up, we're going to have 4 blocks for it to turn. And then the staircase is going to be coming up here from the flanking route. Alright, how about this? Let's do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. That's probably good. Alright, and this is going to be a staircase coming up from like an underground tunnel coming from mid, which is the supposed flanking route. We're having this wall separate them because we don't want them to directly influence each other. Now, let's... If the space you're working with isn't large enough, stack is your friend. Stack is always your friend. Stack is the best command in worldedit. It's good at doing everything. You can make a map entirely by using stack and not even placing blocks. Just using stack and then removing things. Maybe a little loud. Let's turn it down. One more tick. There we go. Alright. So this is the main choke point now. Now the question is, where do we want this tunnel to come out on the other side? Like, where do we want... Let's see, how far down do we have to go? We have to go down 5 blocks. Right. So that's the ground right there. Or the ground level, I guess. Hollowing this up by hand because I don't want to do regions for this diagonal staircase. So we've got a bit of space before... Someone knocking on my basement window? Is that a bird running into my... What the heck was that? Alright. Whatever. Should probably go check that out, but who cares? I don't think we should do that. I don't think we should have it come straight out like that. I think we want to keep... Well, do we want to keep the... Here, okay. Here's a... I should probably ask you guys about this. Do we want to keep the dangerous element of this flanking route? Do we want to keep the lava around, or do we just want to have this be a regular bow spammable staircase? We're actually going to make the flanking route 3 blocks wide, because we want it to be extra easy to bow spam. And we're going to use that as an excuse to make this line up better while keeping that wall. There. Alright, so do we want to re-add the lava? Like, it would be not that hard to re-add the lava. We would just have this go this way a bit, and then turn back towards mid, and then have a pit here of lava at the bottom of the staircase. I don't know if we even want that. Because now, it's a little bit easier to hold this down and the choke point at the same time, actually. Because they're not very separated. Actually, well, yeah, that's what it is. It's a 3 wide full block staircase that you're meant to bow spam people on. There's plenty of maps that do that. There's loads of them on like all the ascendances. I'm looking at all this empty space up on rafters. I'm considering having the flanking route actually start around here. And still making it just as dangerous, just as bow spammable, but having the entry point be a little bit different. You could even have it... Actually... We want the staircase coming out here. Right, because this means you can't be standing here and looking in one direction and see people coming up both ways. If someone's coming up to get me, then it is very possible for me to... I'm going to have to turn my focus away from this route. I'm going to have to look at this one instead, rather than just being able to look down both at the same time. And that would mean, not sure quite what for this tunnel yet. So let's make this down to the ground level. This, no, it's too low. Here we go. It should be at the right height. Yeah, okay. Now it's... Here's the thing. I want someone who's here holding this choke point to be able to get shot. I'm thinking one way to do that would be to open this corner up to bow fire, without actually making it traversable. Like, let me fill this back in again. Alright, if you do something like that, or not even like that, have a... Right, so this probably, it doesn't look very good. What this means is a person standing here can force someone off of this area here. So you can have kind of a showdown. The person playing, or the team that's playing defensively, holding this choke point closer to their own spawn, isn't going to have this wall as a really strong amount of cover. I think maybe that's a bit too much. If we cut it down to just that, you could still have cover by kind of retreating into this staircase here, but then you could get flanked by people coming up that way. And if you're in cover here, like as soon as you're out of sight of that, you definitely don't have very much influence over this anymore. So these like 4 blocks here are going to end up making a big difference in terms of the power level of the a player who is playing defensively in this area. I think for good measure, should we do it to the other side? I think we should. And you're still, we can actually see if we can see those bricks in there. Yeah. I don't think we should have full cover. I think full cover should be on this side here. This is strong offensively, but it should come at a drawback. Alright. So now, here is where it'll start to turn in the other direction and have the flag. Actually, we can go ahead and just turn all of this to air. And then carve out this portion. Right. So rafters are going to loop around like this, and presumably a square. And then meet up at the flag at the far corner. Thinking the spawn should be coming around here. We can think about the spawn location later. Let's finish up what we had planned, which was this area here. We're also going to need to figure out where this is going to come out into mid. See, I'm running out of things to talk about. As I'm doing this. The other videos I've made, I've had topics where I've been talking about them. Once I'm done talking about that topic, the video is just over. That's not the case when I'm live streaming here, which is a problem. I'll make it work though. Some guy trying to advertise his channel in the stream chat. What's the point? There's only 5 people watching, right? How many is it now? It's 5 earlier. I just closed the tab. Well, now YouTube said 0. Oh, 9. I've got 9 people. Look at me, I'm a pro streamer. Anyways, let's do how big do we want this loop to be? We want let's do 11, just like mid, just for the sake of symmetry. Let's do this. This should be 121. Alright. So that is the size that we're going with here. So this is going to be the area to the spawn. I'm thinking underneath here is just going to be the spawn. furnace. Fill that in. Actually, we can just... Okay. Interesting. So now... This feels small now. This feels really small. Spawn timers aren't very long in Badline CTF, are they? I still like this, but I'm still worried about the size. I might have to add something else to it. Oh yeah, and for a good measure, something to block line of sight here. Line of sight's pretty important for establishing important choke points and their relative, the relative strength of places where you can hold those choke points from. Turns out right here, these 4 blocks ends up being a choke point. And I don't want, just as I want to make this loop so that people aren't sitting on the flag, which is going to be right here, I don't want this to be the new choke point necessarily. So I'm going to make that a little bit less of a choke point by having this a line of sight blocker here of some sort so that you can't sit on the flag and just bow spam that corner. And you have to push up to either side, in which case they can just go on the other side and use this to their advantage around the loop. I don't know what that's going to look like on the ground, but I do know there needs to be some pillar here in the middle of this upper loop. Is this going to be for 77? No, it is a 5v5 CTF, specifically meant to be played competitively, which does change a few things. So now we got to figure out this staircase here, where we want this to come out. Question still stands, do we want the lava? I'm thinking probably not. I don't want it. Then again, I made Ascendance 2, and it was supposed to be just a better Ascendance, and one of the problems I identified in Ascendance 1 is that you could knock people into lava. Apparently a bunch of people thought that wasn't a problem. I like that about Ascendance. I think those people are crazy, but the fact that people still play Ascendance 1 makes me think. So do we want the lava? Set this. If we do have lava, it'll be just as before a pit right here at the base of the staircase. Realizing I haven't changed very much except for the mid area. Idea just came to mind. Might not be a very good idea. What if I made it way easier to get back with the flag by having a one-way route here that came out above, right on top of here? Thinking about this, I don't think it's a good idea. Because again, it could give rotational power to a defender. We don't want dedicated defenders to be very strong on this. Let's just make this staircase here. Let's take another look at assembly. Come the fuck on. That's really annoying. Alright, let's restart my launcher too for good measure. Is OBS even going to detect the new window of Minecraft? No, it's not. Oh boy. Oh no, it is. Good. There we go. So there's this other way up to high ground out of spawn, which we're getting rid of. The fact that this comes out here. Ah, I've missed something important. So this pillar here actually is a big deal, because if someone's trying to hold this corner right after the staircase, you can actually come around this pillar. You can use this pillar to your advantage to get around this corner. So we want to do something similar. That's what I was forgetting. Can't three people just shoot bows near that staircase? Near this staircase. And then you just get the flag and you can take control. Yeah, you could technically just push up and fight them in their spawn. Technically. It would be hard to do, but technically possible. I think we're gonna actually... I know I said we didn't need this staircase, but... What's my opinion on friendly fire to boost players? Ooh, I actually kind of want to talk about this one. I think it's a gimmick. And there's two reasons... Well, the reason it's a gimmick is because there's two scenarios in which this exists. One is that mapmakers don't plan for boosting, in which crazy stuff happens and it's game breaking, which almost happened in the CTW tourney. The other possibility is that mapmakers do plan for it, and it turns from a crazy mechanic into a very straightforward mechanic. If you have two people in this place, you just do it. There's some execution to it, sure, but it's very hard to interact with and deal with. Once it's fully fleshed out, the final form of boosting is just that there's like specific places on certain specific maps where you can use it to get somewhere. And that's it. And that doesn't seem like it's worth all the hassle to me, personally. I don't know. It's not my decision, and I definitely could work with it in mind. It's also possible just to work with it in mind and prevent it from being useful if I don't like it, if it does exist. It's annoying, but it's certainly doable. It's less important on CTF, certainly. And it's actually used to good effect in CTF when chasing people in a straight line. Because that's fairly hard to do in Minecraft. If you're both moving in the same direction, getting closer to someone is usually close to impossible. Again, that stack is the best command in worldedit. So I think we're going to keep this staircase here. Actually, let's move it back out. Okay, so here's a tip. If I were to take this and I were to move it 2 spaces, it leaves another gap here. What I can do instead is I can copy it, move to, and then paste it, which will leave this full instead of making a gap where it used to be. So yeah, this is just as far away from the spawn. In fact, it's even a little bit further, but it is an option if you get pushed way back. And if there's a fight happening here, it is very slow, and you still end up in view of things. So I still don't like how these 4 blocks here are a choke point. I'm trying to figure out how to prevent that. Because this isn't enough. You could just have a player stand like right here. You just fight at this choke point. And I don't want people to get around it per se. I just want to make it so that this bridge here doesn't come in at the same place as that one. If we just did something like this. Did another loop. But then again... Not sure how to feel about that. Doesn't feel right to me. Trying to think of how we could do this with height variation. If we move this down a little bit, maybe. Stark asks if there's a Golden Drought 2. No, I never made a Golden Drought 2. That guy's lying. There is not a Golden Drought 2. That never happened. And that's the end of that. If I brought this down a bit, would that change anything? I don't think it really does change anything. It's a little bit harder. No, you got low ground advantage in melee. That doesn't... This is a dilemma. I think I should return to this after building something else. Yeah, I just skipped 2. There was no Golden Drought 2. There never will be. The map does not exist. GD4 was made. It wasn't played very much. The thing about GD4 was it was kind of way too big. It was like bigger than 32v32 could even handle. And yeah, Golden Drought 5 is a Bad Lion CTW for their competitive. Let's put the lava in here. I haven't been using nether brick at all. Oh, Gold Drought 5. Yeah, that was a April Fool's joke back in like 2014. It was a good one. It was so good I almost got forum banned for it. Because the whole map was a swastika, and there was a swastika in the forum title. And then PBAT edited the swastika out of it. It's a fun story. It is a good map. It's better than Battle Ecliptica. So, what do we want to do with mid? We don't actually have... This doesn't have to be the dimension of mid. Or the dimensions of mid. This is... Let's see... 12 blocks away? 12... This is where it would come out on the other side, this tunnel. Still close to lining up. Very close to lining up. In fact, it's even closer to the enemy side than the ground lane. We could just have it loop around. Here's the thing. Where do we want this to come out is the question. Okay, Battle Ecliptica is the worst thing that happened to Overcast since Warlock. It's the worst, and there are people who like it, and I just do not understand. Thank you for being with me. But I say Battle Ecliptica, I mean all of them. Battle Ecliptica 1 is... If it wasn't for Welcome to Wool Square being even worse, it would be a meme. It was so bad. I still don't feel right with how these come out on mid. What if, instead of them lining up, we do something similar like we did before. So on assembly, there was a lower portion here. Like it was lowered at mid. I think we can do that again. And this is really just an excuse to separate these a bit. Just a little bit. Alright, so there's mid. I don't think this trench here makes a big difference, honestly. It's kind of interesting. I think we should make this... Nah, full staircases are stupid. Because they do weird stuff with fighting. Let's just make it a half slab staircase. Half an hour loop of the song timed out. Let's get a different one. This one's just an hour-long mix of different songs, so you guys won't have to listen to the same one anymore. I have to ask, do you ever confuse the dimensions when you're making the other sides of maps? Here's the thing about worldedit. It does this really nice thing where you can copy the entire map and then just flip it to the other side. So let me just do that real quick. I'm not even done with it. I'm just going to show it off to you. Copy, rotate 180. I rotated it 810. Okay, let's copy it again. And then paste, and then bam. It's exactly the same on the other side. So you shouldn't ever have to worry about getting it right on the other side. You just rotate it around the middle and you're good. Unless you're doing a mirrored symmetry map, in which case you use the flip command. And that shouldn't, if you're using the newer versions of worldedit, it shouldn't make a difference. You just go to mid, you do flip, and then you paste it again. In older versions of worldedit, you have to finagle your position in the clipboard a little bit. It's weird. Oh yeah, you're right. You can just loop YouTube videos, can't you? That song was getting a bit old, though. Shouldn't have my background music be just one song. It's probably a bad idea. Wouldn't be a very good streamer. Okay. So... and we've got mid. We've got this coming out in a place that I'm okay with. We didn't actually use MCEdit as worldedit. Not anymore. I used to use MCEdit quite a bit when I made like CTM maps and stuff, but you don't. When you've got everything on a server, you don't even get a chance to use MCEdit. There's no reason you would. At the scale that any sort of PvP map would be made, you wouldn't need to use MCEdit. MCEdit is really good with dealing with large amounts of terrain and huge spherical brushes, like bigger than worldedit does. Because worldedit, once you've got brushes over a certain amount, a certain size, it gets a little iffy. MCEdit's a lot better because you can have those brushes be centered in midair. It's nice. It's nice for anything that would be at the scale of like a complete monument map. Anything that's like a CTW map, Even an enormous DTC map as big as Soviet Mills, you wouldn't need to use MCEdit. WorldEdit on a beefy enough server works just fine. Should up it a bit. I can't even hear it. You mean the music or me? This song is pretty quiet, this first one. There. Nier Automata is the source of this music, by the way. It's a great game. We should all play it. I think we should do the exact same thing we did last time with this, which is to let people jump around after coming up the staircase. Yeah, I think that solves it. I think that's an easy enough way to do it. It's what I did last time. I'm worried about the line of sight here, though. Well, the thing is, nobody's going to be standing here. There's no relevance to being able to see this way. But there is relevance to being able to see this corner from here. Again, fixed by just adding more things to block line of sight. So we can specifically make something here. Just a random pillar. This looks super arbitrary right here. Why would this ever be here? Turns out it's fulfilling a very specific purpose. And it's not doing it well enough because I can still... I mean, that's a weird shot. I guess I might settle for that. I haven't heard this song. Is this even in the game? Does this video have a track list? City of Commerce. I never heard this. Huh. So yeah, this piece of cover doesn't just give you some cover as you're approaching the flag area. It also keeps someone from standing here and just shooting down this line of sight. Alright, I'm liking this now. I'm liking this a lot better now that I fixed this choke point here by just making it so you can jump over. Like the old assembly. You can even do it from down here. Quartz is just a draft. It's the block I used to draft. Some people use stone. I used to use actually stone brick instead of quartz. Then I made Ascendance and I realized that building things out of quartz is really nice. Usually I have a nether brick to denote important corners and pieces of cover. Yeah, Nartica actually is another prime example of using cover to block line of sight from a distance, not as something just to hide behind. The gapple areas are made such that you don't have directional cover from all sides at any point, even though some of it does exist. The archer boxes, the 2.5 high cover make it so you can't shoot from one tunnel straight into the other. You have to come out onto the box to be able to shoot past it. There's a bunch of examples of pieces of cover being relevant even if people aren't directly behind them, such that they would line up with being behind cover at a distance. This is my major pride in talking about competitive maps. What am I most proud of doing? I guess is how I would think about that question. I'm proud of joining the team right after Guardians of the Wool, the event team on Overcast, and saying that we need less of just one map each round, best of ones. I did Conquest and revolutionized not just how maps are done by making a competitive tournament out of maps without block interaction, but also by revolutionizing formats on Overcast by having just 3 maps in a best of 3 series and the same ones every time. After anything compared to that, like I've had other achievements, but that was the biggest immediate impact, and I did Conquest alone. Like other tournaments, even like past that, I had other people on the team helping me out. But Conquest was pretty much just me at the time. Interested in being a level designer. Yeah, that's the career I'm going for. Going to college for game design development. I mean, I don't need to specifically even be a level designer as a career. I can be just a regular game designer for any other game, because I have experience designing stuff for non-competitive games. I made CTM maps back in the day. Minecraft is surprisingly non-restrictive in terms of what you can do. Besides the core combat mechanics, which are, I mean, they're interesting, but they're not like any other game. You can do a lot to the actual game modes and sort of maps themselves as a map maker. That's saying you can do a lot to maps as a map maker is kind of redundant. I mean, I've had a lot of freedom in deciding what I want game modes to be. I mean, I made 5CP out of thin air. Not out of thin air, I copied it from TF2. But being able to decide that I just want to make an entirely new game mode and game type and style of play is not really that restrictive, honestly. This is... See, I'm listening to this mix now, and I don't remember a lot of these songs. Which one's this? Temple of the Drifting Sands. Is that like some special location in the desert? Because I never explored the full extent in the desert. Alright. Back to the map, though. Let's hollow this out. Probably want some cover up on top. On a gapple spawner down here, so let's just mark that with a gold pressure plate. That's under redstone, isn't it? Yep. We want arrow spawners. We could do arrow spawners in these back corners. Actually, no. If we did arrow spawners, where would they be? How about just right here? Have like a little indent. Not too far from the main choke point, but far enough away that you can't do both at once. And they can just be parallel across mid, because why not? Symmetry looks nice. I really have not heard this song in the game. And then the iron pressure plate. Where'd it go? Oh, hello, Triple. So now what? Oh yeah, now I'm gonna outline every important feature in Netherbrick, which is 112. I'm doing this because there's an important step to map making that I'm about to leave out, which is to make the map look nice. And it turns out I'm very bad at making maps look good, so I get other people to do it. You know how I said I made Strange just take Verdant Corridors, which was called One Flag, and then make it look nice, and I gave him author? It turns out I have a method to doing that on a regular basis that involves making the map like this out of quartz, highlighting important corners and features with nether brick so that they don't get changed, and then giving it to someone else to do. Someone says cover the line of sight to bottleneck tunnels. Which line of sight? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Which one you're talking about? Oh, this is the side without these pieces of cover here. Let's go ahead and place the flag here. I should do the spawn area. I don't remember if we actually have spawn timers in yet on bad line. Like if those work. They weren't before. I remember this song. Covered line. Oh, you mean looking from one down to the other. They don't really line up. Like if I were to stand over on this side of it, then I can't really be shot until I come out, I guess, from the other tunnel, I mean. Thing is, nobody's coming out of the tunnels. No one is... Like, what these tunnels are going to be used for is people are going to go into them or drop down and go into them. But nobody is coming from that end to this end, so I don't think it really matters that you can shoot from one to the other. From the rafters, again, I mean, you can shoot down that way. I think that's fine. Unless you mean from up back here, in which case that's kind of the point that you can shoot down into here. Not really sure which location you're referring to. Triple's gone. I'm gonna make these staircases full blocks of nether bricks, just so people keep it the same. Spawners on Badline are actually not spawners that we make. Spawners are specified in the config file. On CTF maps, you have to tell the devs where the spawners are supposed to be, and then they put that in the config. Actual custom spawners that are part of the world file, I don't think actually work. So there are plenty of other reasons why the GD3 spawners wouldn't work. Like, it's a very old map, and some update along the way probably just broke spawners. First location I mentioned. So you mean up here? Yeah, again, not really worried about people coming out of this tunnel because they won't be. I don't want anything to block line of sight from one end of the rafters to the other. I want this to be a very open space that people are going to shoot across. Though you could afford to add some cover somewhere. I think if it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be over here. This isn't very much cover. I think it's enough. Okay. Alright, so we're going to have spawn be back here. Which flag is this? It's the blue flag. So let's have blue spawn, of course. Be somewhere in here, somehow. Now, here's a trick for spawns. You want there not to be line of sight to the location where they actually spawn, which let's say is right here. There's a few ways to do that. One is to force them around like that, so that even if I come around here it doesn't work. We can go even further by forcing them back in which case, if I stand here and I look in, closest I can get is looking down like right there. I kind of don't want people coming out of spawn in a 5 wide choke. So I think that will do right there. can come out of spawn in a 7 wide choke point. That's fine. I'm gonna eat those words when someone starts spawn killing in a tourney match, but whatever. See, now you can't actually see the location where they spawn, and if you got rid of this, you kind of could. Want to make sure that's not visible. I don't know if this will reach down to the ground. Honestly, I'll leave it up to whoever ends up skinning this, which is the term we have on the team here. If you end up making the aesthetics for map, you're skinning it. You're just going over it and making it look different. So these aren't important corners, so I'm not going to highlight them. Entrances and doorways usually are. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is important. So now I'm wondering, because I'm almost done kind of building this. Because the rest of the process doesn't happen on stream. It happens whenever people are on, I'm going to ask them, hey, come look at this. What do you think of this? And then it's going to slowly it's slowly going to look better, and it's going to slowly be play tested. It's not going to happen in one sitting, and it's not something you're going to even be able to record. So what happens now is the question. Really talk about what happens next, at the very least, because someone's going to look to this and think this is like a guide they should follow. Even though building stuff for competitive is very different than building stuff for literally anything else. So at the very least, I'll go through the process this map's going to end up going through. I'm going to find someone who doesn't have anything to do. I'm going to say, hey, can you do me a favor and make this whole thing look not like a pile of white and red. And hopefully they're going to say yes. If not, I'm going to find someone else and ask them until I find someone who says yes. Once they're done with it, then there's no submission process because it's a Badline build team instead of a Badline community submissions. So I guess that's not even an important... I should talk about that. I should inform people on what to do and not to do with submissions, because I've been on both sides of these submissions, but it's not actually what's going to happen to this map. And then once the devs make like a config file or whatever for this and get it on the Scrim servers, then we can start testing it. Again, I haven't heard this song. Oh, the background to the video changed. But yeah, let's pretend I was making this on a local host with my own plugins on it, and this is now a file on my computer. How do I get this from a file on my computer to on the servers? First step, of course, if you're making this for a server that uses XML or YML. Actually, I think Avicus moved from YML to XML, so XML. Although Badline's using JSON now, which is neat, because JSON's a better file format, even if it's harder to write stuff in. Anyways, first you make an XML for it, and there are plenty of guides out there for making XML. I'm actually not one of the better people at making XMLs, so you should refer to the other people instead. Then you want to make a post for it, assuming you're putting it on the forums. And take a few images, a few suggestions for taking images. Set your FOV down to normal. Put yourself in F1. The FOV is actually, turning down FOV is really nice for looking at them on the thread, because it looks normal to have yourself at normal FOV, or at your regular FOV as you're playing the game. But looking at an image on a web page, especially if your FOV is really high, my 95 is not especially high, which is what I have it at. there's some maps that people have submitted where their FOV is like the max, and it's hard to look at what's even happening. It's hard to tell what the dimensions are. So turn your FOV down if it's up. What I like to do is I submit one image and then put one image in the post, and then put the rest in the image or album. So you can actually read the rest of the post without having to scroll through a bunch of images, and you can see what the map is right there. At the bottom, put the download, and of course the link to the rest of the images. And usually write up a little bit about the map itself. Some people skip this step and they're just like, here's images, here's the download, here's the screenshots. You want to talk about what the map is and what your ideas for it are. So a map dev who's looking at it and is like, why would anyone ever do something like this? And make these weird choices and put a core here. If you do something that's really out there and different, you want to explain your rationale behind it, if you have any. And then that's your submission thread. And you post your thread, and usually you get some feedback from people, and they say, change this. This looks dumb. Though that's not really the helpful feedback. What is the helpful feedback is that it looks dumb because of this, and you should do this differently. And not everyone who says stuff like this is correct, of course. Every piece of feedback should be taken with a grain of salt. But, oh, why would you even say something like that? I'm talking about fucking community submissions for Minecraft maps, and you're memeing about... I'm just gonna put user in timeout. Go sit in the corner. 300 seconds. I don't know how YouTube stream chat works. Anyways, what the fuck was I even saying? I already forgot what I was talking about. I was talking about submissions, but I forgot what specifically. Make a thread, and then you're getting feedback. Okay, so you're getting feedback, and as you get feedback, you're going to want to make changes, especially if the feedback is from someone who ultimately decides whether or not your map makes it past the submission stage. You definitely want to listen to them. Arguably, even if they're incorrect, you want to listen to them so that they can at least test the map. And then, if they were incorrect, then they can see that they were wrong and then change it back. Usually that doesn't happen. Usually the people who are in charge of approving or disapproving of things to get through the submission phase know what they're talking about, and you should listen to what they have to say. Anyways, assuming your map gets through and it starts getting tested, you're going to want to sit around and watch the tests. And you should have some... Here's the thing about testing, because I'm going to go off on a tangent into what testing also means in competitive too, because it's actually fairly similar, testing maps for public and testing for competitive, and that you're kind of seeing teams and players figure out the map and things that you intended or didn't intend. If they find some strategy or some route or some option that you didn't really intend for, or they put a defender in some place that is really overpowered that you didn't realize, that's really great for playtesting. But there's also the chance that they don't realize obvious things, in which case you want to point that out to them. Because theoretically, once the map is played enough, those will become common knowledge, and that's one of the problems with the accuracy of initial playtests, is that players don't realize important details necessarily. So don't be afraid while a map is being tested to interrupt the players and say, hey, have you guys tried this? Turns out a lot of the time, though, they're not trying it because it's not as powerful as you intended. It's not as useful, or it's not even relevant. Like the window on assembly, like I was talking about earlier. Nobody used that. Nobody even realized it was there because it was useless. Not because it was hard to see, because it didn't actually serve the purpose it was meant to. So examine that too. And always try and gather different information from each time it's tested. Try and be efficient with playtesting. If you're thinking about changes, this is a lot less helpful to advice to people who don't have the power to make changes to maps being playtested on the fly. But if there are things you're up in the air about, if you're still considering doing differently, just playtest it once with one version, and the next match, try it with the other, and just compare them side by side before even evaluating either of them in the vacuum. I did this a lot with when I was making Ascendance. If I had two options for something, I just did both and tried it and see which one was better. But supposedly once something's done, why did they do this? Why do they spam? I'm on the build server. Why? I don't care about UHC. There's probably a command to turn these off, but I haven't done it because I'm lazy. And oh my god, please. Theoretically, once you're done playtesting, and I say done playtesting like it ever stops. It doesn't really stop, but once you have playtested to the point that map is consistently playing well and there's no issues with it, then it's supposedly done. Then you can move on, unless you're making a competitive map, in which case you gotta. It's always being playtested, and if any problems ever arise, which they always do eventually, then you gotta do something. Either replace it or change something. Oh, I copied the wrong side. Play the UHC? I suck at UHC. You guys have no idea. I've literally, like, never done a UHC. It's just not... It's not really appealing to me. It's like factions. It's just way too much time spent for just fighting someone and then either winning or losing. Like, I know there's more to it than that, but it's just... It's too much time and investment to end up fighting someone. Like, I would just rather play on Badline Ladder. Like, as soon as Badline started and you could do 1v1s against each other, any interest in factions for me disappeared, because I was like, why would I ever spend hours grinding up the full prot armor and getting all the potion loadouts when I can just go on Badline, click on a sign, and and then fight someone with the full kit. I don't know, that's just not appealing to me. The higher stakes probably mean a lot to other people, but I can get those higher stakes without spending all the time. I don't think UHC is a bad game mode or anything. It's just what makes UHC interesting does not make it interesting for me. The same goes for factions. The factions, do people even play factions anymore? Like play it seriously? I know there are a bunch of smaller servers out, but it's not like the old HCF days where HCF on Shotbow was the faction server that everyone played on, and then Badline started up so people could practice for HCF. Anyways, this is like probably done. Probably. This ended up not taking very long. How long has the stream been going for? An hour and a half, pretty much. I've been rambling about other stuff too. I'm gonna restart my game at 1.7.10 because my there's no sound in 1.7.2 for some reason, and my local host was 1.7.2, which was where assembly was. Yeah, End of the World stuff seemed really cool. But that was basically just a giant UHC. Without the giant Hunger Games or whatever. UHC is defined by no health regen, so I can't say that. Oh yeah, shot bow. Rest in pepperonis. Yeah, now with sounds. That's fitting. Just play on Badline. What should we play? Actually, my internet's gonna be garbage. I don't think I can play Bad Lion Ladder. Let's not play Bad Lion Ladder. Let's do... Does Stratus got anything going? Let's do Stratus. Whatever. For anyone who's tuning in for mapmaking, mapmaking's pretty much over. I'm just gonna stick around and answer questions. And apparently play... What is this? What map is this? Depths. The Obelistics. Where's the spawn? There's a Maya? It's a DTM. Oh, I was looking at it like this was one side and this is the other. Because the map is longer that way. No, this is one side. And this is the front line. So the map is wider than it is long. What the heck? What? Huh. So, I just want to say Mossy Cobble looks really ugly. Oh, you know what we could do? Because we're still technically a map-making stream. We could keep this map-making related. I could look at the... So there's a Japanese Overcast sort of clone. I don't want to say ripoff, because, I mean, like, Cardinal existed. Nobody called that a ripoff. Like, there are plenty of PGM imitation plugins. So the Japanese Overcast clone, or PGM clone, has some really bad maps. Like, I will go on record and say that their maps are really bad. And looking through their submissions form is really fun. So let me see if I can find it. Triple knows what's coming, because we actually looked at this together. At one point. Let me see if I can remember. I posted a link to it in some Discord. I'm going to search for it. From... Okay. Okay, here it is. Electroid Trump, great. So I want to just, I could actually go on their server while I do this. Yeah, let's take a look at their server, just so you know, have an idea of what I'm about to find on their forums. Okay, so I don't read Japanese, but their server GUI is actually like in English. Like, see, PvP mode, server selector, War on Winter. Let's take a look at War on Winter. So I'm going to explain why this map's bad. Actually, I can't explain why this map's bad, because I don't even know how it works. Can you bridge from here? See, that's an important detail that I'm just not aware of, because I don't know if you can bridge from here to there. I have to assume you could. I don't get why there's this enormous height difference between each side and mid. That doesn't make any sense. It looks like the aesthetics are terrible, but like I can't fall in for that because I'm even worse. There's no bedrock anywhere near the monument, so you could dig out everything around it. Anyways, let's keep looking. Okay, what's this one called? Return to platform. Does this look familiar to anyone? Oh, view tutorial. Let's view the tutorial. You have observed the game and cannot interfere with other players. Right-click to learn about this map. It's a CTW. You gotta get the wool and bring it to your base. This is a wool room. This is your spawn. And that's it. That's the whole tutorial. All right. Nobody even used tutorials on PGM, but it's interesting that they have them on here as well. But yeah, this map is just... Wait, no, you can bridge across here? So it's not just Pursuit of Happiness. It's slightly different. I see. And also got CTW. This map's called 8. The name of this map is just 8. Okay, let's take a look. That's the whole map. It's 8. It is 8. It's just a figure 8 with like a giant fucking tree in the middle. Can you climb this? The height limit's gotta be below these things, right? What are these, by the way? What is this? Like, I do this sometimes on my maps. Like, Golden Drought 3 has things above the worm, so from a distance you can see, like, oh yeah, it's the green ball. But what are these? They're so over-detailed, and I don't even know. These remind me of Warlock, kind of. This is the spawn? You just come out... What are the team sizes? Team selector. They have like a match? This is a 12v12. It is a 12 versus 12 map right here. Alright. Nostalgia. Religious War 2. Religious War 2. Great. Wonderful. Huh. Okay, I don't get why this is like a crusade or whatever, but... Is this a monument? This sword? That's kind of interesting. What's in here? Why? Do you get iron on this map? What is this? Oh, this is also a monument back here. I guess they had the courtesy of making this like above area, above the spawn. So you can get kind of like around the people respawning. But this area right here seems kind of hard to get through. Because players are going to be respawning coming out of spawn. Unless you go over, but this is a long way to go above on this guy. Oh, it actually doesn't look too bad. I mean, it looks terrible, but it doesn't look like it would play awful besides that one part. Primed. Airship War. Airship War. Oh. Oh. This is their airship battles. What's this over here? Wait, what is this? Oh, this is the spawn, and then you take a teleporter down. I see. Alright, that's kind of interesting. And then you come out, presumably on all this obsidian. Right. Okay. No, you come out down here underneath the other obsidian. And this is the core. I mean, it's just a really small... kind of airship battles. The balloons on top are weird. Alright, whatever. Blitz Poker. It's a pot PvP map. What am I looking at? Where do you spawn? Why is this an area you can access out here? Where do you spawn? There's stairs down here? Where did they go? What? What's the point of that? Is that a chandelier? What's with all the colors on the floor? Where do you spawn? What is this? What? Alright, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. We've got walls. Man, those aren't even... Alright, let's check out their form. So, they have a subform for Map Graveyard, which is maps that didn't make it through the submission phase. So let's pull these up. Add window capture Map Graveyard. Alright, wait. Let's try that again. Add window capture. Let's do the inner window. Wait, I already got the inner. And whatever. Okay. So this is in front of everything. Position. Wait. Order. Move down. There we go. Okay, so this is the map graveyard subform. So we're going to find some really great maps in here. These maps are so good they got turned down by this server. So here's a problem with looking through here. A lot of the threads don't actually have working images. This one just has a download. CTW, Rainbow Road 2. Does this have images? Oh, it has images. Ooh. Oh boy. Okay, so what's happening here? Is this the spawn and that's the Wolverine all the way back there? I can't make out what's going on. So there's this like, can you dig out this whole thing and just make this void? What is with this weird like up and down? Like it just comes with a pit already, I guess. There's a lot of void gaps that you gotta go over. I don't know what this guy's talking about. Alright, let's move on. The moon battle. No images. Gym. What is this link? It's an Imgur link. Ah, I see. You called it gym because it's a gymnasium. That's just the map. Okay. Wonderful. What else we got? The Two Towers 3. Doesn't look too bad, actually. Got shaders. Shaders make everything better. Don't actually submit your map with shaders, please. I mean, other people probably like them, but I makes it harder for me to see what's actually happening with the map. But they do make things look nicer. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Spawns back here, objectives up here. Passes the not shit public map test. What am I looking at? DTM and Rage. That is not a good combination. That is a very bad combination because in order to break a monument, you have to be standing still breaking blocks. And in Rage, that's going to be very hard to do and not instantly die. Otherwise, the map is just like nothing to really talk about. Like, that's the spawn and that's the objective. That's a bad idea. Oh yeah, another tip from taking screenshots and making maps in general. If you're making something for other people to look at, do it in default because most people will be looking at your map in default. And even if your texture pack is nicer looking, you should be able to see it with the same eyes that the other people are going to see it because you're not making it just for yourself. And images. I don't want to go to a Dropbox link for images. Capture point. Siege of Chengseng. I don't know. Fastpick.jp. This is a not functional website. Alright. Kairoku. It's by the same guys. You can use the same... Yeah, it's not working. Let's just jump to a random page, like page 7. Alright, DTC, The End Kingdom. Ooh. Oh boy. What am I looking at? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, regular FOV is nice too. It doesn't necessarily need to be like the lowest FOV, just like not Quake Pro, because that is quite annoying. I can't make out what's happening here. It looks awful. Like and again, I'm a huge hypocrite for saying things look bad, because I made Ascendants, but good God, this is just a blank thread. Like there's nothing in this post. All right. Maybe he deleted it when he got turned down. PB. I don't know what PB is. What game mode that is. Walls. This is Operation Judgment. Oh, it's a King of the Hill? Okay. Where do those go? Where do those go? They just go to the other? Like when you're on the hill, you can go in here, go all the way around and above, and then come out the other side of the hill? If that's all it does, it seems fairly useless. Otherwise, the map is just a big rectangle with a hill in the center. Alright. Looks interesting, though. This one's called Asteroid. These are all injured links. What the fuck? What is this? What am I looking at? What? Are these streetlights? What? Let's look at another image. This is the team side. Is this border control? Is this border control? Just separating one side of the island from the other? Again, look, this is what high FOV looks like in screenshots. It's hard to make out what's happening. Let's take another look. What is this big sphere in the middle? Is it at the same height? Like, are these half embedded in this sphere? What's up here? What is that? Is that something important? I can't imagine bridging on these. So the spawn's here and you come out and you're just at mid. And then to get to the war rooms, you have to bridge out. No one's going to be able to defend. No one's even going to be able to get away from mid. Like, occasionally someone's going to bridge out horizontally, but, like, you have to bridge away from their spawn? Like, what? Oh, yeah, a close-up of the spawn. Like, we really didn't see that was a spaceship there. This is inside, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Okay. What? Is this hollow? It's kind of interesting, I guess. A hollow sphere for the mid. It's a cool concept. I don't think it should be anything more than the concept, but whatever. Or cube. Right. Another blank post. Presumably deleted because they got turned down. Hexa. Hey, it's just hexagons. It's a normal map. 2-lane C2W, but hexagons. Presumably the portals come out here. So it's just RFE2, except for the fact that it's hexagons, because, I mean, the spawn being right here and the lane's just going past on either side. Except you can't go through the enemy spawn, because that makes it different. It's cool looking, I guess. Surprised this one got turned down. Actually, I have a bunch of highlights of maps. So okay. I'm gonna stop looking through the forums. I'm just gonna, because I posted a bunch in Discord way back. So I'm just gonna look at these images I put in Discord, because these, I spent a while getting a few highlights. Alright. This is a map right here. I have to assume that these are the spawns, and these are the monuments. Or something. That this is how this monstrosity works. I think this is all iron bars making, like, around this river. I don't even know what's happening. Okay, also, what is happening up there? Up in the sky? What is this? Is it like, there's a gold thing. Is that like a horse with no back leg? I don't know. Here's another one. Okay, so here's the thing. When you are making aesthetics, something important to remember is that visual contrast can actually serve a purpose rather than just the artistic importance. It can highlight important features, it can highlight hallways. Making your wall a different color from your floor is also very nice, so that from a distance you can tell what's what. Having an accent right at a corner is really nice, so, and stuff like that. This map doesn't even try. It's literally just all snow. it's just like from it. If I squint my eyes, it literally just looks like a white blob. Who got timed out? I didn't even see what he wrote. I don't think I want to. If he got timed out, then whatever. I don't actually care that much. Oh, I'm back to looking at the threads. Here's one. I don't know what to say about this one. Why are there two different fountains? One that's lava and one that's water. Why do there need to be... What's the point of this? What's the point of this thing up here? No, oh, I get it. This one says, this is red team, this is blue team. That's like the team, that's the team indicator. The flag above the spawn. There's a monument thing. I just want to see what this map's called. It's called Pine Trees Object. Let's translate this page and see what this says. It's going to be Google Translate, so it's not going to be said very well, but map of the theme explaining. Got the wood by cutting. There is a pine tree in the middle. Can be replanted. You can win by destroying the obsidian and the camp next to the tower. So the theme of the map is that you get wood by cutting down the tree, but then you're supposed to replant. Like, this is super important that you cut down this tree and replant it. That's the map. This is the... Alright, what's next? This is just... backwards Snowy Wars. Where these are the wool rooms, and then this is the spawn instead. And so the objective being here and the spawns being there. It's still just as bad as Snowy Wars. Also, look at this, like, cookie. Chocolate chip cookie with holes in it for mid. It's one thick. It's all just wood planks, and there's a bunch of holes in it. But it's not just holes in it. All the holes have been taken out and then placed next to the hole. I don't know why. That's what's happened here. I can't make out what's happening with this. I don't know why I posted it. It's not a very funny image. Here's a funny one. Good. Wait, are these fences? Why would you just fence in the whole map? They don't even work. You can jump over them because of the staircase here. You can get around the edge here. Are these cobwebs? I can't tell because the resolution's not very high. Oh yeah, and okay, so if you thought this was bad, the staircase going up here, it leads out to this. This is what's at the top of the stairs, which is even more confusing. There's a game starting? Wait, people are playing this map. Where did they spawn? Oh, they just spawn in this corner. Right, and then you run into the big cylinder and you fight them. Right. Yeah, that's pretty stupid. Who is this? This skin looked like Electroid for a second. Anyways, back to... wait, you can't see that because of my OBS. Oh, no. Wait, it does... Is it because I minimized it? Huh. Alright, well, back to this then. Alright, what else we got? I'm gonna hear some noises from the game I'm not watching. Oh yeah, this is a map. You spawn down here. The core is up there, so they gotta... Oh, back on. Oh yeah, you missed the map making. I made the map. So now, instead of just ending the stream, I'm going through some really bad looking maps and just making fun of them. Instead of ending the stream and going to sleep like I should. Not really sure what to say about this one. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Look at this one. Even left some text in chat, did an F1. Centered himself almost. He's a little bit off center. Is this a monument? These melons up here? Why are these buildings here all different materials? What's with this diagonal? Why is it all the way out there? Can you break this bridge? Can you make it so it's just floating out there away from the rest of the map? I don't know. Here's a map. I think these are... Wait, is this supposed to be like Quidditch? Because like the three... Who's texting me? Someone's texting me. Who cares? There's like these three posts back here. I have to assume these are the objectives. They've got gold blocks, but they're beacons. They're active beacons. No, you can't get back there. Unless you go over the wall. Are you supposed to go over the... I don't... If I remembered what game mode any of these were. Those are really... What is this? Oh, let's just get out of that server real quick. Also, what the heck is this? Oh, there is some map on Overcast that look kind of like this. Ah, someone's texting me telling me to go to sleep. I don't think I will quite yet. There's some Overcast map that look kind of like this. Are these jump pads? Yeah, it looked like this. It was all like these flat circles. Like, it was a weird flat ring race. And there are monuments. It was weird. And you moved really fast. And it was a DTM and you couldn't place anything. You just break the monuments. Anyways, back to this nonsense. I think this is a blitz map. This one's better though. This is also a blitz map. Where's the map I made? Oh, I should... If you want to see it, I'll show you. It's just I basically just remade assembly, but did a lot differently. Not a lot differently, a little bit differently to fix some of the problems assembly had, theoretically. Anyways, that's a map. This is the whole map. I don't remember what the team sizes are supposed to be for this, but probably too much. Anything but a 1v1 is too much for the map. Even a 1v1 would be cramped on that. Oh yeah, this is zoomed in way too far. It's a interesting looking King of the Hill, I guess. Yeah, 5v5 CTW. Because we need more Badline CTF maps. The current ones are not all that great. Oh yeah. Okay, so again, all these images I'm showing right now are highlights that I found earlier. This one's my favorite. Can someone tell me what is happening here? Because I'm still not quite sure what's supposed to be happening. If I'm reading this correctly, this is just a giant expanse of fences bordered by like a row of dirt and some trees. And then the teams just spawn at either side and fight on the fences with water underneath. Why fences? Why anything with this map? What's even the goal? Is this a TDM? I don't remember. Also, the thread included an image, which is the same image but from the other side, which I find hilarious. You don't need to show that one side is red and one side is blue. It's pretty obvious. And he also included an image from underneath to confirm that, yeah, this is in fact just a giant rectangle of fences. Sure. Here's a map. If the FOV wasn't so high, maybe I could tell kind of what's going on. But it looks like the bottom of the map is 50 blocks below the top of the map, which is questionable. There's probably a lot of pillaring going to happen on that. Here's one. Again, zoomed in really far for some reason. I wish I remember what game mode some of these are. Is it a DTM or are these the monuments? I hope not. Okay. This one is kind of, I mean, it looks horrendous. But what amuses me the most about this is the like diagonal wool lanes here, but it's not actually a diagonal. It's just kind of like they were straight, and then they just shifted, like, just slanted them slightly, just to separate them, so you couldn't jump from one to the other. Like, that's the only purpose this serves right here. The rest of it's also kind of weird, that, like, there are these side islands that you just have to come back to this choke point again here. Like, why not have the lanes not shimmy to the side and then connect to these side things? What's the point of the sides if not to... I don't understand. Here's one. This one said Cloud 9 earlier. This isn't actually Cloud 9 at all. Check out this monument at the top of, like, this missile silo. I don't even know what this is. Is this... Wait, maybe this is a core. I don't think it makes a difference, but look at how far up this is. If you dug all this out, it'd be a nightmare to get up there. Look at how separated the side lanes are from mid. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's interesting. Also, look at the the misshapen creeper face in the ground. Those are always my favorite. When someone tries to make a creeper face and then fails miserably. All right, here's another very questionable one. I still don't understand. Like, this is just like the fence one. I don't really know what the point of this is. It's just a bunch of, like, a grid of planks floating in water. And there's some more images. It zooms in. There's some chests down there. That seems interesting. We're confirming that this is just a grid of planks above water. But the spawn doesn't actually come out here. Do you start underwater and then swim up? And it turns out, yeah, that's exactly what you do. You start underwater, and then you can either fight underwater and drown, or you can go up top and jump around, and 3/4 of the time fall in water every time you get hit. Doesn't seem very fun, but what do I know? Here's a blitz map. Pretty much just an arena map, like a 1v1 map that someone said, hey, what if we put a team on here? We've got a few of those. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, this is the problem with really low resolution screenshots, which unfortunately isn't a piece of advice I can recommend. Just say, like, yeah, just have a higher screen resolution before you take a screenshot, because it doesn't really work like that. But screenshots are really hard to make out if your screen resolution is too low, or if you're in windowed. Maybe this guy was in windowed. Let's compare the size of Minecraft's windowed. Yeah, he took this screenshot when the game was windowed at the default windowed size. So don't do that. Full screen your game before you take a screenshot. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, this. It's like bridge over troubled water out of wood, but then with like a bunch of other shit thrown in. What is this? Is this a hill? Wait, is this a King of the Hill map? I don't know. When I found these originally, I had the context of what game modes they were supposed to be, but I don't anymore. Here's one. That doesn't look so bad. The glowstone trees are weird, though, and you can see the ice is actually melting around most of them. But I'm not really... I don't know who's going to be using that. I don't think we're actually supposed to use the line cards. It's hard to tell what's happening, especially since it's actively snowing. Ugh. This one's just another thing you would see in Arena, just like as a 1v1 map, but for some reason they think there's supposed to be teams playing on this. Maybe it's a walls map. I don't know. Actually, no, these can't be walls, because walls are supposed to be symmetrical. It's supposed to be. Here's one. This is actually Golden Drought 7, guys. You heard it here first. I don't know why this tower here has a lamp on the top and why this one's got a ladder you climb up and then use. I don't know. None of this makes any sense. Oh, take a look at this terraforming here. It's visibly just a one radius world edit brush, just scattered around without any attempt to make it smooth. I guess he dug into the ground in a few spots, but like either make it flat or have actual terrain. Don't like have piles of blocks around and call them hills, because that's not really terrain. It's just piles of shit that look ugly on a flat ground. Here's one. I don't know what's happening here. Again, with the separate fountains for water and lava right next to each other. It must be a running trend. These side islands are weird to me because they're so far from either side or from each other. I can't imagine someone bridging from this to anywhere. Like you'd have to go up here, go from your mid island to the side, and then go back to the same. Like I don't know, why would anyone? I don't get it. Here's one. High FOV, so you can't really tell what's happening. It's CTF or CTW, I think. What's back here? Are these the monuments? Is this the spawn? Victory monuments? There's like an underneath area. So you can like underbridge the wool. That's kind of neat. This is also kind of weird. I don't know what this is. Let's keep going. This is a map, I think. What is that back there? I really can't tell what's happening with this. It's another thing to note. What's the point of these? Like, I don't think this is actually forced to be on these paths. I think these paths are just a suggestion. I think this is just a big rectangle with a bridge across the middle. I don't see why I would even... Like, I don't... I should go to sleep soon. Like, this is entertaining and all, but, like... I really should sleep. This guy made his wool rooms boxes of wool. The rest of the map's kind of whatever, though. I don't know what's happening with this. I remember finding this and being very confused. And then Google translating the thread that accompanied this map. And then being even more confused. I'm running out of funny things to say. They're all just really questionable. And you keep finding stuff like this. Like, who looks at this? Like, sure, you might be bad at making stuff, whatever. But how do you finish something that looks like this and be like, yeah, this is as good as the other maps I played. This will be great. And, like, how does this leave someone's computer? How does this make its way onto the internet? How does someone... Oh, yeah, this is shaders, I think. It's supposed to be ninja stars, I think, but it looks like failed swastikas. More nonsense that's just boxes, bad-looking boxes facing each other. There's a lot of maps that fit that description. Oh, this one's my favorite. I say my favorite, but this one's great because this doesn't make any sense in terms of perspective. Because think about what... This doesn't function correctly in terms of basic, like, geometry. Like, okay, so... this is a very confusing image for a number of reasons. It turns out this is actually photoshopped together from multiple different images. So this is the image he took you can tell he took the blue side from this image. He took the mid head on, and then the red as just like a mirrored of this, like in the same spot. And he stitched them together in Photoshop, which is crazy. Like, why would you? Is his render distance just not high enough? No, because he's standing in the right spot here. He's just. I don't. Well, no, it looks Photoshop because it like there's no clear masking line. Like it looks like it's done decently well, and even the clouds up here. Actually, no, you're right. You're totally right. I'm looking up here at the clouds, and there's a clear line of where they start and end. I was just unable to tell because I was so tired. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Maybe it is MS Paint then. This is a map also. Can't tell anything about what the actual map is like, but it looks ugly. Oh, wait. Wait, we saw this one. No, we saw this one with diamond weapons, and this is another version of it with gold weapons. Oh yeah, that one of the mushrooms did look like it was from a CTM. That's a good way of putting it. Oh yeah, imagine if Bridge Over Troubled Water was just the bridge, and you spawned on the bridge, and then fought on the bridge forever. Fucking wonderful. Oh yeah, this is a map. Okay, so how do you get from one side to the other? Do you get from one side to the other? Are these two separate maps? Are these two versions of the same map? They're kind of similar. Is this a monument? Is it the spawn? Is it the war room? Is it just a single block something? No, this is blue side and this is red side. Right? So how do you get across? What's this back here? Is it a tunnel? Are you supposed to go over this bedrock wall? Who fucking knows? What's this? Okay, so this is just... I mean, you just fight on this island here. And whoever gets their first bow spams the other one off. No one's going to fight underwater. Why would you even put stuff down here? I guess it looks nice, but no one's going to go down there. Okay, so this one I found. I found this map. And I still don't understand what this map is. So looking at these images, what do you think's happening here? What do you think any of this means? Without even being able to read this text, what is any of this? Where is this in relation to where is this room? Where is this room? What's that? What is this? And I was like, okay, I want to figure this out because there's a lot of text here. I'm going to translate this page. Let's translate this page. All right, let's see what this guy has to say to explain his map. This map each other to earn a point in 4 of the competition. In version 1.10, you've got a good difference of weak violently. Balance remove the athletic for difficulty. And add aim competition in place. And he deleted the passage that leads to a certain territory in PvP area. So that makes some sense, I guess. The rest is just, I don't understand. Maybe this is part of the same line, and he's giving the justification for removing that hallway. And it's just translating badly. Add the potion effect of night vision. But that's an update, so this is the original explanation. So the XML on the map and the introduction of competition. jump, end line. New line, jump you to the high jump score box. And the potion of jumping force, increase smash down the enemy in a hole in the field that does not pass through the damage. You earn points by PvP kill fight with the sword and bow. You earn points by kill PvP fight with the sword and bow. I want that. I'm out of high school, but if I was still in high school, that would be my high school quote right there, or my graduation quote, or whatever the fuck. All right, earn a point in the kill ordinary PvP is of passage has been removed, leading to the fortified. Aim redstone block the bow and arrow that was blocking the shed and square box. On the button of the tree is temporarily broken by entering the square box. While you are broken, earn into. What the fuck? Okay, so with his changelog, I was kind of able to make out what was happening here. So he's saying there's a certain hallway that was kind of unbalanced, and it was too easy to aim from, whatever. So we got rid of it, and he added night vision. That makes sense. What does any of this mean? Okay, and so this guy's saying there were problems with the map when we tested it. The parkour is difficult, and the map's dark, so add night vision. Presumably that's what he did. I still don't like. So like the rest of it's not just Google Translate, right? Because the rest of this I can kind of make out what they're trying to say, but this just isn't even like a coherent thought. Oh, here's a map. What do you guys think of this map? I think it's a pretty good map. I think it has a lot of potential. I think we could see it in the next tournament, maybe. Take some play testing though. We gotta figure out if there's any problems with it. Everyone finds like a new Icarus that's too strong. This image was actually on the thread. It turns out the map actually looks like this, but for good measure, they wanted to submit a picture of it in the during the day. I don't know why. No, this is with the roof on because like you see this here, it's got a hole in it. Still like just bizarre. Here's another map that's barely big enough for a 1v1. Here's shaders on what's easily recognizable as garbage. This isn't even. This is all just stone, and then there's like a mossy cobble path here. It's obviously just like a worldedit brush. And then there's just like random shit scattered around a rectangle. Here's a tip for map making. If your map is random shit scattered around a rectangle, try again. See too many maps like that, especially on Badline. A lot of the original CTF maps that I had to work with for the first CTF tournament, because like we had just a bunch of them just scattered around, were just arena maps with stuff on them and then flags in the corners. I don't know what this is. I assume these go somewhere. There's more to this than this mid area, but that's not a guarantee. I don't know what the fuck that is. It looks terrible. This is just a nice little village with an off-center observer platform. You can see it's off-center because the shadow is off-center. This is just like a TDM where you just go in and fight each other? I don't know. Oh, this map, it is called OOEDO Panic. Oedo. Huh. We've got another map that's barely big enough for a 1v1. Got a lot of those. And we've got this map, which actually looks okay, but I picked it out because it looks kind of familiar. Though, not too familiar. We've got this. And these, like, it looks kind of cool from a distance, but aren't these lanes, like, super skinny? Like, even skinnier than Deepwind? I don't really have entertaining commentary anymore. I haven't had entertaining commentary for these for a while, but just hopefully these can speak for themselves. These are supposed to be tanks here. This is Nazi Germany versus the USSR. The map, you can see the ground plane and the tiny tank. That's a giant plane compared to the tanks. Holy shit. Is this even on the ground? Maybe it's just really high up and close to the camera. You can see that there are tracks left by the tanks, but they're only going so far behind, which suggests that they're going so slowly that this far back the grass has had time to grow again. I don't even know. We got this, which is just like this weird hill, and then a bunch of boxes with shit in them scattered around. I don't even know what to say here. Because it's just, why would anyone do this? Try and find more funny ones. Oh, yeah. This is the actual thread, and this is the map. What else have we got? We got it's a bunch of mushrooms. The map. Giant library clusterfuck and rafters everywhere. It looks like it's MC Escher, maybe. I don't know. What is this? This is... I can't even tell. I think that's why I posted this image. Oh. Here's a good one. So the one earlier was Golden Drought 7. This is Golden Drought 20 right here. The entire map is just fucking... Why would anyone do this? Who would look at this and think it's a good idea? That's what fascinates me. Like, the fact that these exist, sure. Like, anyone could make this as a joke. But the fact that someone made this, looked at it, took pictures of it, and put it on a forum, that's what gets to me here. Because it's just like this is just a DTM the size of like maybe 5 people on like across both teams. Like, I don't even here's a screenshot I took of some guy who just posted emptiness. Just 5 empty posts. Just... That's the thread. Alright, and that's all I've got, actually. I was scrolling through some stuff I posted earlier, and now that I've gone through all of those, I'm really not in the mood to find more. Because I have a splitting headache, and I'm super tired. And for some reason, there are 8 people watching me do this. So, thanks for that, I guess. Let's turn this off. You might see this sometime soon, this map. It might go through changes. It might not ever... Maybe it just... maybe there are parts of it that suck. Like this choke point here ends up sucking. Or people find a way to break it in early play testing and nobody ever sees it again. I don't know. But, Yeah, this is the map I made in an hour and then spent another hour and a half. Well, no, I spent an hour and a half making this and then an hour railing on low-hanging fruit. Oh yeah, I think earlier I was talking about the CTF map, specifically Matato's map impact. So I want to just I couldn't find this in the video I made before where I was just railing on Matato's map, but I want to show the original version of impact, which is the flag back here and the spawn here. And I'm not going to say much about it because I already said a bunch about it in that video. But I do want this to be like on record. Like this happened, this existed. People to see this. This is also the version before I made a little bit wider and added a pit, so it wasn't just like one room for mid and nothing else. So you could have like some line of scrimmage. Show Nyx's CTF? What, you mean just Space Race? I don't know if I'm... He didn't even change anything. Here I am like deconstructing assembly and remaking it and changing the core principles of it. No, Nyx just remade Space Race block for block with sandstone. I don't even know where it is. Sand Race, he's calling it, yeah. Whatever. I'm going to stop the stream here. Thanks to everyone who sat through this. Thanks to everyone who watched me rant about other shit because I was too tired to type and then said I should talk more. So I streamed, and now I've learned that I am not an entertaining enough person to make a stream entertaining when I have no topic to talk about. Sandra, I don't know where it is, Triple. Do you know where it is? You come on here and show me the location because I don't have a home set for it. Home. See, I've got... Yeah, I don't have it. Did he make it? Did we make it near Dax's map? Is it around here? Dax moved his map down to the ground. Neat. There's a... This is the trial world right now. We remade all of our CTW maps. Oh yeah, all the CTW maps around here. I guess I could show these off. This is yeah, everyone's seen these. So I don't know what I'm doing showing these off. But we made them all next to each other, I guess. I'm looking for Nyx's map. Triple found it. That's not it. Here it is. It was right next to... It was right where I started. Yeah, you just made your Space Race spot with sandstone. Sand Race, yeah. Wonderful. Good job, Nyx. You should be proud of yourself. Maybe Space Race was perfect and nothing needed to be changed. And yeah, an opportunity to remake it from scratch or change things about it. He did all the math and decided he didn't need to. Maybe he's just really lazy and would rather play Overwatch instead. Who knows? Who knows? I'm going to actually end my stream now. And I said I was tired and I should stop streaming like half an hour ago. So I'm going to actually press the button now. Goodbye.